the most dangerous thing Trump can do. Now, listen to the end, please, because I'm going to really go into some deep detail, but I got to take you on this journey with me. Just please be patient. This is really for the people who've been following me for months. And if you're new, hi, I'm Darren McGraw. I used to work on Kamala Harris's campaign on the engagement team, thousands of us. I have 30 years branding marketing experience working for big companies. I'm here in downtown Chicago. And I want to share some deep stuff with you. So follow me on this journey because I am going somewhere with it. I'm not going down the rabbit hole. I'm going directly on the most dangerous thing Donald Trump can do, but you got to understand the context in which I break this down to you and what you should be aware of. It's not just being aware of his dangerous thing, but what you should be doing to be aware of and be careful of. You ready? All right, let's go. First of all, I want you to understand that I have, again, 30 years branding, marketing experience, and what I do and the way I've made money online for the last 20 years. I haven't had a job in 20 years. I made money online teaching people about branding, marketing, and making money online because I've been doing it for an awfully long time. Okay? Started from a FEMA paid-for hotel, running away from Hurricane Katrina. I was working for iHeartMedia out in New Orleans, not in Chicago. And the Chicago guy knew nothing about hurricanes, so a hurricane showed up, and I'm allergic to dying. So I decided not to do that and ran my butt away. And I ended up in Texas. Yeehaw! Wasn't going back, so I started running my own business online, right? And I've been doing this for years. And during that time, I worked on Obama's campaign out there in Dallas, where I was living. Then I came back home years ago, almost 10 years ago, 9 years ago, I came back home. And what I did was when this campaign came up, let's zoom up to this campaign last year. This month, last year, was when she announced on the 21st, she's running for president. And I said, well, I got to join. Not only for me, but for my mama. See, black folks didn't vote for Kamala because she was black. They voted because they black. And they knew who Donald Trump was. And we begged everybody to jump in who were minorities. Please come aboard. Please don't believe, but Palestinian protesters, please don't believe that. Don't believe that he's going to actually help you. He did the Muslim ban. He don't care about you. And please stop showing up at Kamala's protests. If you're going to protest both, which they didn't. Then you had the Latinos who wouldn't listen. We're like, listen, he is going to you up. He is going to do it. I promise you, he's coming after you. Oh, no, not me. And then we talked to the Haitians, to the Cubans, to everybody. Listen, he gonna you up. And they wouldn't listen. And that's why a lot of black people are like, man, we ain't protesting. No, y'all. And the whole idea was we were very frustrated with this after this happened. Now, the election math ain't math, and that's as much as YouTube let me say, or Instagram or TikTok. They don't let me talk like I want to about the election. I do in my clarity group. You know I got a clarity group. It's in the description area and on the homepage. Come on through. Just come on through. Because if you like it and love it, you'll stay, because we're talking about real stuff in there. Several hundreds of people, almost 300 people in there. We're a real cool crew. All right? But what I'm getting to, and I am getting to somewhere with Donald Trump being the most dangerous. What I began to discover after the campaign is that there were two things happening. One, these same Congress people who were supposed to be in our corner were voting on stuff that didn't make sense. They were voting on ish that didn't make sense. I was like, what the HELL is going on? For instance, Colin Allred, who had a great campaign, probably one of the greatest campaigns to become blue in Texas. And here he is voting on a law that would allow the president, who would be Trump, to remove exempt status from nonprofits if they believe they're terrorists. But you know how Trump is. He'll remove it just because he didn't like the way the rain fell outside. And you voted for that? And he wasn't the only one. It was Debbie Wasserman Schultz, the former DNC chair from 2016 for Hillary Clinton. and a whole group of other people who did this. And I'm like, wait a minute, are you guys on our side or what? Then there was the Laken Riley Act, that poor lady who was unalived by, an undocumented person, somebody who was illegal. And what I said on to them was, wait a minute. There were Democrats who were voting for that, like Warnock. Warnock's a black man out of Georgia. He preaches out of Martin Luther King's church, if I remember correctly. This is a preacher. And he voted on that. He voted yes on it. And I'm like, why would you do that? They're going to treat the brown just like they do the black people if they do that. And there are people, but he wasn't the only one. There were other Democrats. Then as of recent, which I wasn't surprised by, no, I was saddened but not surprised, that there was 120 Democrats who didn't vote for the impeachment of Donald Trump, even if they wouldn't get it. They tried to come up with foolish excuses, including Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries. And then on top of that, we had 10 people, including Dick Durbin, who's in my city, my senator, voted for this bill with Schumer. He was one of the 10 people. I'm like, what the? What I began to understand is that over time, Trump was getting in people's heads, not only on the Hill, but among creators on the left. There are leftist creators right now who claim to be leftists who keep repeating his talking points, but no solutions, no assessment, no context. The most wealthiest thing, and thank you for hanging on here with me, y'all. The most wealthiest thing, okay? Most wealthiest thing that Donald Trump has is not his money, it's not his assets. It's his ability to get in the minds of hundreds of millions of people, at the very least. Because I have members who are overseas who joined the Clarity Group as well, who outside the country. I had a guy last night. We did a talk last night. I do lives on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays. I had a guy who was in there from Sweden. And he's like, man, we got Trumpers in Sweden. You got people. He's been able to get into the heads of not just the right, but the left. And the way he's getting in the left's head is having them repeat the shock and awe. Either they're doing it to get shock and awe and get attention and views or money for Creators Fund. And, full disclosure, I'm doing stuff where I get money. Yes, I get money for my Clarity Group. I'm part of the monetization in several social media programs. So I do get it. But I don't get it by fear-mongering you and alarming you, but really building you up and arming you with truth, with clarity, with help. That's the difference. So I do get money, and I'm calling myself out on that. But understand this. The biggest dangerous thing that this man has is the ability to get inside the heads of people on the left to repeat the talking points. And with no assessment. It's one thing to say breaking news, but it's another thing to say what that means. What does it mean? That he got a Supreme Court ruling the other day. What does it mean? That and then they don't talk about cool stuff like this man has a 14-98 record. Out of 112 cases, he has a 14-98 record. I've been tracking it since the beginning of his presidency, and we're in the middle of the 25th week, and we're 6-7 months in. I'm trying to tell people, listen, there's a significant issue if you're believing what this guy says. Ezra Klein, the guy who writes for the New York Times opinion poll, best-selling author, he said, the biggest thing you could do to hurt Donald Trump, and I'm kind of paraphrasing what he said, you could do is ignore him. Stop listening to this guy. That's what this is about. In my group, I'm usually talking about how it's going to be okay, how it's got to get worse before it gets better. The things I say in there that I can't say on YouTube is talking about the election, talking about what is the development with Kamala Harris, whether she's going to run for governor and versus president. And if she runs for governor, I start talking about the secret stuff behind the scenes of why she would be happily running for governor versus president, because there's a lot of shit going on with the Democratic Party. I'm not saying you don't support the Democrats. I'm simply saying don't support the national base. Support your local state, county, parish, city, yes. But national, one, they've been raising 10 times the money off of Elon and Trump. They got the money. But what's sad is that they pretend they don't. Help us fight them. Things are so bad. Bull, bull, bull. And they got a rumor going around saying they're broke. They're not broke. Y'all, they're not broke. The problem, the most dangerous thing that Trump has is getting people to believe that you're losing when we are, in fact, in a weird way, winning. It's like that Rocky movie where you're getting a crap beaten out of you so you don't feel like you winning. Remember at the end of the first movie, the second movie, it was actually Rocky 2. And he's like, yeah. He said, hey, you think you won? And Rocky turns over to his coach and says, does it look like I won? It's like, we're in the middle of a battle royale. But his most dangerous thing is getting inside the left's head to repeat his talking points with no assessment and freak people out. The most dangerous thing is his ability to have narrative warfare. I just did a live in our Clarity group. I do it every Tuesdays talking about narrative warfare. It's real. It's real. It's possible. And I want all of you to understand that. What he's dealing with, what we're dealing with, is someone who may seem like an invalid or don't know what's going on, but he's an idiot savant. This guy is a savant when it comes to manipulating narratives. And it's dangerous because there are people on our side who are helping him and they don't even know it. It's like that Matrix movie. There are people who are helping and don't even know it. We gotta stop. We gotta basically begin to see. And first of all, we gotta cordon off ourselves, because some people who claim to be on our side really aren't. They're freaking out and saying all hope is desperate. You've seen some of my videos where people, all hope is done. There's no way in the world we can do anything. Listen, you got somebody with that, they're getting off of this whole thing. They're really into drama. They're energy vampires. And then you got other people, all is hopeless in the end. They took time to put a comment in and tell all is hopeless in the end, when the man has a 1498 score. We need to calm down, then calm down. That's why I tell people, get my clarity. Well, I won't put the $20 in there, and even if it's $100 for a year, I won't do it in there because it's more than the cost of my Netflix. Is Netflix calming you down? Because apparently it's not. It has you panicking and freaking out all across the world. Well, I won't like your stuff. Okay, then they leave the negative message, and that's when they get blocked from the channel. It's like, listen, why in the world are you even putting that ugly negative energy out there? We don't need that. But Donald Trump does, and he loves it. And he appreciates that. Every time you open your mouth on some negative-ish, you are doing nothing but helping that man. That's why I'm saying the most dangerous thing he can do is occupy the space in your head. Rush Limbaugh used to do this in the 80s and 90s. He was really good at it. And now you got Donald Trump using the same formula. Same formula. Don't let him do that. Recognize what's going on. And there are deeper questions all of you have asked me in the comments. Well, Darren, why is it that blah, blah? I can't say that publicly. There's a lot of stuff I said last night in my Clarity group that we stopped the recorder on. I said, okay, stop the recording. You wanted to hear things? I ain't putting it in writing. I ain't saying this out. And when I tried to put stuff here in YouTube, what they do to me? What they do? What they do? I tell you what they did. They flagged me. I can't say it like I want to say it. It's okay. But my point in all of this is to you is this. Focus. Focus. Understand the bigger picture. Understand what's really going on. Invest in yourself. If you can invest in entertainment on YouTube, you can invest in yourself. And because you're not getting breaking news from me, you're getting assessment of the breaking news out there. We had a rough one yesterday. And I went over for about 30 minutes plus talking yesterday in our live with replay. I'm putting the replay up when I'm done here. Is what actually the fuck is happening. That's what I'm doing. That's what I'm about. Don't let this dangerous man get in your head. Don't let this And by the way, if there are people around you that he's getting in your head, their head, and they're not listening, you got to break away from them. You can still love and talk to people, family, friends, but you can't go there. And it's not because it's politics, it's because they refuse to understand with clarity what the heck is really going on. They rather panic. Why is nobody doing anything? Are you that person? Why is nobody doing anything? There is somebody doing something. There's a lot of bodies doing something. But what you have to come to the grips with is that you're not paying attention to what's happening. You're paying attention to his sensationalism. You're too busy focused on a $400 million plane in Alligator Alcatraz than what's really happening, like the rescission bill, like the people who are getting ready to get out and challenge this big, beautiful BS. Or like, oh, you're, sensational. What do you mean there's no Epstein files and you're getting him mad at this? The reason he's getting you mad at this because he wants you to ignore the fact that he was cutting funding to those weather stations out in Texas. Those little girls passed away during the flood. Those 100 people. You don't want that scene. You don't want that leading. You'd rather you be outraged by Epstein files. Where he went off in the press conference, that was a setup. You guys are still talking about this? Yeah, you set that up, man. But I talked about that in the Clarity Group. That's the type of thing you want to do. Invest in your peace of mind and understand what's going on. And once you understand what's going on, once you have a thinking behind that, you know what to do from there. That's what this is about. Again, my Clarity Group, as you know, is in my description and on my homepage. But he's dangerous if he lets people around him do this. Plus, you help him. If you're always trying to address the truth to your friends and family and they're not listening. Some people won't. They just go into it. They'll do what they're doing. You can't help everybody. That's why I have a small group there, Clarity Group. It's not any everyone business. That's all I got to say. Thank you for listening.